Hey guys, um, I'm going to do a small video here on the Wasteland Industries smoke kit. I'm actually going to be replacing the silicone tubing with this here. It's a little bit more robust. This is my Spengler pack, and for anyone who saw my last video, I have the smoke on my 84 as well. It seems to be coming out a little bit better, so I'm going to be switching out the original one that he gave me with this new one I got from Amazon. So I'm kind of going to go through it a little bit since everyone seems to have questions on it. Smoke kit is here with a nice 3D print of Thingiverse. And then I have my relay plugged in there. You can see the red terminal comes out, plugs into the relay. Then the relay goes through here, rat's nest, rat's nest, rat's nest, to the Wasteland PCB in there. And then from there, the PCB, you plug the battery in there, and then all the other things get plugged into the blower and the atomizer, and then it follows through down to the LED and the fan. So we'll get started in a second. What I'm going to have to do is remove the cyclotron. So we have these 4 screw holes, and then I'm going to take the top off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just pop that off, and then I'll kind of show you how one of the best ways to get the 3D printed end filter cone all set up. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so I already have some of this started. As you can see, I took the cyclotron back off. You have the 4 north, south, east, and west. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have the 4 small screws inside to get the cyclotron top off. If most of you guys have done some of these mods, like the inner plate, you know where they are. So one of the first things I needed to do was take the remove the old hose from all the spaces it was in. Let's move this guy out of the way. And then what I need to do, I need to take the blower out. And then I need to get my screwdriver in there and remove the screw that holds the end filter in place. Okay, so the screw I'm going to leave in there. Then all I need to do is pull the end filter out a bit. So if you guys can see, one of the things you want to do here is I got a ton of hot glue around the LED light and the silicone hose in there. So somebody on the boards today was talking about a lot of smoke was backing up into the end filter and the cyclotron, and most likely is because you have not gotten enough hot glue in here to kind of seal off this little bit right here. And then also, if you can see, going through the end filter, I drilled, let me just pull this out, might as well. You can see I drilled a hole through the bottom of the end filter so I could run the hose through there, the silicone tubing, right through here. The reason I did that is because as the cover of the cyclotron covers this, I didn't want this to get pinched going through there, as I read a few people that had that. So not really sure if you can see it, but once you have your holes drilled from the template here and here, which you will do on the other side when the pack is flipped over, then you can run everything through here. Before you start, you should know that you will have to run your LED and silicone tubing through the hole here, which is, I believe, the 1/4-inch drill bit, before you end up gluing it into the end filter cone. So hopefully that's making sense for some of you. Again, like I said, I've already done this, so it's hard to really kind of do a full walkthrough, but let's see, you can kind of see the hole right here, and then the other hole where the LED and the silicone tube are going. So that's going to be, I believe, the 1/4 inch drill bit from the template, and then the larger hole in the bottom ended up being the really random 25/64 drill bit. So I am going to remove all the hot glue from the end filter off camera because y'all don't need to see that, and then I will get back to you when I'm re-hot gluing the new silicone tube in place. All right, guys, took the hot glue off, which was a lot easier than expected. Now what I'm going to do is run my silicone tube through the hole in here. You don't necessarily have to do that first. You could actually do it through the without running it, and then just kind of finagle it once it's in. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get everything here for you guys. I might not, so we're going to try to get the LED into the end filter. Okay, gotta move some of this out of the way. All right, so you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna stop this. I have some electrical tape stopping the cable, so I need to give myself a little extra slack first. So let me do that real quick. All right, got some slack going, so I can pull. I should be able to pull this through a little bit more, and make sure that the, like I said, that the LED is going all the way to the tip of the end filter. And I want to grab this here, and then you want to get that in the hole. And you can see the LED still popping through a little bit, so that way it illuminates once it's coming out with the smoke. Now what I'm going to do is hot glue the hell out of this thing. So we'll do that for a minute, let that dry a tiny bit. The good thing about this silicone hose, it is 6 millimeters outer diameter, 4 millimeters inner diameter, which was what was recommended from Paul, who runs Wasteland. It seems to be about 1 millimeter or some, a little less than 1 millimeter bigger than what he provides, but it's excellent. So if anyone wants to look for some 4 and 6 millimeter inside, outside diameter silicone tubing, you would be doing yourself a favor. All right, so now I need to turn this around and get the remainder of the openings taken care of. So again, my hands might be in the way of the camera. I'm sorry, guys, but this is the best angle I can get for everybody. Ooh, that's hot. All right, that might be all I need. All right, so the glue is dry now. Let's see, I'm not sure. Try to zoom in a little bit on this if possible. So you can see how I tried to get as much hot glue around the tube and the LED wires, so that way there's no blowback, no smoke ends up coming back through that opening. And then what you want to do, you're going to want to run this through. Actually, let me see if I can run this hose through this little hole first. See how much easier that makes things, guys? Oh, I messed the camera up. Get the kink out. All right, now I can pull this through. line it up, make sure it's properly set up in the little end filter chamber. All right, now I'll try to screw that in a little bit. All right, so now it's nice and tight, but also since there's a bunch of glue on the other side, you don't want to screw it in too tight because you want to make sure that you're not pinching anything in there. So now we'll put the blower fan back in. Get that, that's all the way in. Now I can kind of take this slack back a little bit. I want to try to get everything through there. And these are my cyclotron cake LED wires. So let's go. Guys, most of the reasons I have this electrical tape in here is because it was for when I had the Hasbro, still had the Hasbro motherboard on here. So don't have that anymore, which is great, but there's still some cables that get pushed around a bit. So let's do this. We're gonna run this through here. And I'm gonna run it underneath some of this cabling here. All right. So now let me go grab my cyclotron and put the cyclotron back on. All right, let's try to get this cyclotron cover back on. So ideally, guys, what you want to try to do is, for me, you want to get these two plastic posts lined up right here. Then everything else kind of fits into place, and you want to make sure that you're not pinching any wires on any of the screw buses. So you try to make sure that everything's out of the way. There, nothing's caught. All right, so now let's see if everything screws in the way it's supposed to screw in. Matter of getting all your screws and everything taken care of and lined up properly. Okay. And then this guy. All right, so cyclotron is all screwed back on. Cabling is right where I need it to be. Now all I need to do is run the silicone hose through this madness. Try to get it through most of this stuff here. And pull it through. And guys, there really is no rhyme or reason to this. Like everyone's packs are going to be set up differently inside based on how you do your cable management and whatever. So there really is no right or wrong. I know some people think there is, but there isn't. It's really whatever's going to get the job done and work for whatever you have going on inside your pack. And I've had this thing open so many times. There's been some rerouting and things like that over the year. And then yeah, like I said, whatever gets the job done. So just want to make sure that down here is good and nothing's getting pinched going in. And then I can cut off let's see if I can maybe cut off this much. try that. I'm gonna run it. Let's go under the battery. Let's get that. Oop. Right in there. All right. All right, let's do a little test. You guys aren't really gonna be able to see it, but that's okay. Awesome, that worked. Now let's get this, get it completely set up and motherboard back on so I can show you guys. Okay guys, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna check the difference between the two packs and see if the change in the silicone tubing actually gets me a little extra smoke. So I'm gonna do a comparison between the Spengler, which you can see right in front of you here, which I just did the silicone tube change on, and then the 84, which again, if you go back on the channel and find it real quick, I think it's like 2-minute video I did just showcasing the new 84. You can see there's a considerable difference in smoke on the 84 as compared to this one. So let's see what we got. And 84, here we go. Well, guys, without reviewing the footage yet, tell me in the comments which one you think has a little bit more smoke. Again, the 84 has a brand new smoke kit in there, so it's a good chance that the maybe the pump or atomizer has less wear and tear on it, even though the other one's only a few months old. But your mileage may vary, guys. I hope this helps. Any questions, leave them below.